Hello everybody. So in this video I want to talk about the incubation process, and this is something that I have always felt existed. I just didn't know like the correct terminology for it. And this is basically the process of gathering information, basically like filling your head up with information. Now this could be relevant or irrelevant information. It doesn't really matter because all of this is going to take place at an unconscious level ultimately. But you basically fill your head up with as much information as you can, right? You feed your mind relevant or irrelevant information. And the intention here, the objective is that later it will produce something sensational, right? Something great, something extraordinary. Which I think this is also in some way the process of going to school, right? Like when you have to study math, science, history, all this stuff that people say, I don't know what all of this is helping me do if I'm not gonna, do anything with it in my life, but it's shaping you, right? It's giving you like the blueprint for thought and ultimately to produce other things later on in life, right? So I asked ChatGPT and it gave me this step-by-step process. I'm going to be going into each of the steps, and then I'm going to be giving you my opinion on each of the steps, right? So the first one is preparation. Preparation says it's the stage where you consciously focus on a problem, gather relevant information, right? Excuse me, and attempt to find a solution. It involves intensive thinking, research, and analysis. So the key word here is conscious. You're consciously, you're gathering information, you're thinking about the problem, you're trying to find solutions, right? You're coming up with potential solutions and alternatives. But you have to be aware that the potential solutions you have in mind are not going to be the ones that you're probably going to carry out, right? This is just basically like to feed your mind. Now, this is like a natural process, but you can do this knowingly. You can do this like being aware of the process for it to work as well. The second one is called frustration or saturation. So it says often after gathering information and consciously working on a problem, you might hit a mental block, right? Like writer's block for artists or for songwriters, right? This phase can involve feelings of frustration and confusion as no clear solution seems to emerge. This frustration actually sets the stage for incubation, right? So you get frustrated, you're looking for the solution, but you just don't find any solution, right? You see cliche solutions, but you want like an original, well thought out, innovative solution to the problem or to the issue. And in this case, you get frustrated, right? This is where you just give up, right? This is where you say, I don't care, whatever, right? And here comes the key part, incubation, which is the third stage. This is the unconscious processing stage. What you do here is you step away from the problem, allowing your mind to work on it in the background, right? During this period, your brain continues making connections and processing information unconsciously. The incubation stage can happen while doing unrelated tasks like resting, sleeping, or even engaging in activities that can relax or distract you, right? Kind of like exercising, showering, walking, taking the bus, right? Like this is the idea of when you're trying to find a solution to a problem or you're thinking through a problem. This is that idea when people say, well, let me sleep on it, right? Let me like you disconnect yourself from the conscious effort that you're making to find a solution or to make that breakthrough, and you just simply, like it says here, you put it on the background. Your mind is still going to be working on it, but now at an unconscious level with all of the relevant and irrelevant information you have gathered, right, for it to start cooking up, so to say, right? So I think that's a very interesting process because you're feeding your mind all of this information, all of this data, all of these ideas, right? You've been working on it consciously, but now you just step back, you go to sleep, you watch a movie, you go for a walk, but not thinking about it, right? Not thinking about the issue. And then you just forget about it, right? Basically, there's a lot of, I think, wisdom in this. I think Steve Jobs says something like, the solution to a problem is not forward, it's backwards or something like that. And just the idea of, you know, you're not going to get a revelation in esoteric terms until you stop working on it, right? Stop working on the problem. The fourth step is illumination or insight, which after the incubation period, here comes the aha moment, and suddenly a new idea, perspective, or solution appears, right? Like the light bulb, often feeling like it came out of nowhere. This is when the brain connects the dots, which I've spoken a lot about too, integrating everything you've learned with subconscious processing, right? This is like Isaac Newton's apple falling on his head moment, right? So you have that breakthrough, right? Which is actually how Isaac Newton, they say, came up with, and Einstein also came up with their theories, where they weren't actually, they came up with them not in moments where they were like intensely doing their research and investigations, but rather when they were like, Isaac Newton was, you know, famously sitting outside in a garden, right, under an apple tree. The fifth step is verification and implementation, which is in this case, the solution now is consciously evaluated, refined, and implemented, right? Because the unconscious, they say, can make mistakes. This stage is where you test the insight and see how well it solves the original problem, right? Now, you may say, why does this work? Well, it works because of unconscious problem solving. First of all, your brain continues to work kind of like when you go to sleep, right? So it's very interesting because the brain is always working even when you think it's not working, right? I guess it's kind of like the heart, and I think it is an organ. This is very interesting. It says your brain continues to work on the problem without the distractions of conscious analysis or stress. So trying to solve the problem consciously and making a conscious effort actually is counterproductive at some point, and it actually limits you from actually solving the problem, from thinking outside the box, from from connecting the dots with apparent irrelevant information, right? This can lead to surprising connections or ideas. Yes, it works because of defocused attention. It says, this is pretty interesting, defocus, so it's like, you're not paying attention to it basically, but it's still there, it's still being worked on. Shifting your attention away from the problem allows your brain to explore different avenues and connections that were previously blocked or overlooked, right? Because when you're making a conscious effort, you're limiting all of that other potential, right? That's on the edges or on the margins. And rest and recovery. Stepping away from the problem provides a mental rest, reducing cognitive fatigue and allowing your brain to approach the problem with renewed clarity and energy, right? So tips for this, basically, for incubating ideas, take breaks, right? If you feel stuck on a problem, take a break. Engage, it says, in unrelated activities like walking, exercising, or hobbies to give your mind space and time to process subconsciously, right? Sleep on it. Sleeping has been shown to enhance activity and creativity, and problem solving. The brain continues processing information during sleep, making it a key time for insights to emerge. Change your environment. Shifting your environment or routine can stimulate new perspectives and help you move past mental blocks, right? This is like, for me, a very out there idea is not out there that is like crazy, but out there that's like known, is like taking a different way home from work, right? Or taking a different way to work, right? Just to kind of like give you like new perspectives. And finally, relax and don't force it. So it says creativity often thrives when you're in a relaxed state of mind, kind of like with alpha waves, right? Letting go of the pressure to solve the problem can actually allow your subconscious to do its best work. Now, I'm testing this out. It's experimental, but I'll let you in on what I'm doing. I'm basically answering the question how to be a hip hop star, right? And I'm reading articles on it. I'm watching some videos on it. I'm thinking about how to do this, right? And I've been doing it kind of like intensely these past 2 days, journaling about it, meditating about it, and lighting a candle on it. And basically what I'm going to do is then I'm going to have like the next 2 or 3 days where I just don't think about it. And then I'll come back to the question to see if I have new insight, right? So again, this is like experimental, but I think it's something interesting that you can try doing, right? Like feeding your mind all this data, stressing about it for a while, and then just forgetting about it, and then asking yourself the question or the solution to the problem maybe like a week later, a couple of days later, to see if a new insight is revealed, right? So yeah, that's all I got for this video, guys. Let me know what you thought about the incubation process. I think it's a very interesting process. And I'll see you in the next one. All right, peace.